Hey guys, it's Destiny, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about which characters I want the most in Honkai Star Rail, as I'm sure a lot of us want a lot of characters, or a good amount of characters, but I know for a fact a lot of us probably have a top 5 who we want, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about that. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So to begin, I really want, which I'm sure a lot of you who have already been watching the channel know, I really want Bronya. The reason why I want Bronya is that I feel like she will be a very good character for longevity purposes, and I feel like out of the standard characters, she is by far probably honestly one of the best characters due to the fact of what she does. Bronya is a wind buffer who can increase crit rate, crit damage, attack, and she can also advance a character's turn by 100%. The reason why that matters so much, or why she's so good, is just the fact that she has so many things she can buff from your team, and the fact that she can advance a character's turn by 100% is very beneficial. The reason why it's beneficial is due to the fact that if your character gets advanced by 100%, it essentially means they immediately get to act again. Since in this game, there are turns that pass by, and that's how characters are situated to attack when they do, and when enemies attack when they do. So if your turn gets advanced by 100%, you'll be able to attack again immediately, which is why Bronya, in my opinion, is really good. Also, she can do this with characters that can possibly already attack multiple times in a turn, such as Seele, and I know her name in Honkai Star Rail is pronounced Seele, but I heard in Honkai Impact that it is pronounced a bit differently. She is also on this list for today's video, but she can advance her turn by 100%, and Seele is already able to attack multiple times in a turn if she's able to one-shot an enemy. So let's say she one-shots a minion, for example, then she will be able to act again immediately, which makes Seele incredibly powerful, and even more powerful with Bronya. If there was like a perfect pair, I would honestly say it's Bronya and Seele, which I think is very fitting, as I know how they interact in Honkai Impact. So I'm really happy to see that in the game of Honkai Star Rail, they interact really well together in the case of battle. Additionally, if you are enjoying this video so far, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and let's carry on. So next up, I want to talk about Silverwolf, which is essentially another Bronya. I think there's a pattern here. I just really like Bronya. So Silverwolf is able to debuff enemies in multiple ways. It can be defense, speed, and so on. She also ignores weaknesses and can add weaknesses to the enemy, which can allow you to possibly do mono-type teams with her. The reason why I'm mentioning mono-type teams is in the case if you want to run multiple of the same element. Typically speaking, you don't want to do this since enemy weaknesses are really crucial in this game, and you have to revolve your team around the enemy's weakness. In my opinion though, I feel like Silverwolf is able to get around this to a decent degree, assuming that everything goes correctly with her. So the fact that she's able to ignore weaknesses and add weaknesses to the enemy means that you can possibly once again get away with one element team. Now let's say the enemy is weak to lightning, and you have a full team of lightning, and Silverwolf herself is quantum, but she's able to inflict a lightning debuff sort of thing and inflict the weakness onto that enemy. So if that enemy previously did not have a lightning weakness, now it does, and now all your teammates are able to do a lot of damage against this enemy, and you're able to break their weakness or toughness meter faster. You're able to just do more damage overall. So I really think Silverwolf will be a really good character in the game as well, and I'm really curious if they're going to change anything about her, since I personally think she's probably one of the best debuffers in the game, probably alongside Welt. They both have different purposes, but I do think adding weaknesses to an enemy can allow for a lot of team comps to really work really well, and I feel like she's overall going to be a really good character. Next up, I want to talk about Jing Yuan. Jing Yuan is a character I really love. As you guys know, Jing Yuan has the Lightning Lord, and him and the Lightning Lord can attack in a turn together. So in a way, he kind of attacks twice as long as you upkeep his Lightning Lord with his skill and his ultimate. His skill is able to give him 2 stacks for Lightning Lord, while the ultimate is able to give 3 stacks. When your stacks of Lightning Lord are gone, then the Lightning Lord is no longer going to be on the field with Jing Yuan. The reason why I feel like Jing Yuan is so good is the fact that he has so much AoE damage. He can just attack so many enemies, do so much damage, and overall I just feel like he's really strong and I am personally very excited. I also think he's one of the best designed characters in the game. So overall, I'm just really excited to play with. And he does get a banner. I definitely plan to summon on that quite a bit. Next up, we have Seele. Seele is a high damage dealer to single target enemies. And once again, as I mentioned previously, she can attack multiple times in a turn. The reason why this is super good is if you want to sweep against an enemy, and let's say Seele is super effective with her element against the enemy and she's able to just dish out a lot of damage, then she's able to quickly beat anything you face, assuming that those conditions are in line. Overall, I feel like Seele is really good. I feel like she'll also be really good in endgame. I know when you keep leveling up through the game, the enemies do get bulkier, they do have more HP and so on. So that can possibly be a problem for Seele if she's not able to basically one-shot certain enemies, or the minions rather, since then she won't be able to attack multiple times in a turn. But as long as she's strong enough and she's able to dish out enough damage, she'll always be really good, at least in my opinion, for a team. And I just feel like her damage is just really high in the game, and I really like how good she is, especially early on. She'll be really good. I'm sure once again in endgame she'll be really good as well. Lastly, we're gonna talk about Sushang, which Sushang can attack multiple times in a turn, and her ultimate is just, in my opinion, one of the best ultimates. It's so adorable. She summons the Phoenix Chicken and it just basically stomps on the enemy and just does so much damage. But her ultimate is really good, as that's how she's able to attack again in a turn. So essentially how I like to play is use skill, then use ultimate, then use skill again, and you just dish out so much damage. Since she is part of the Hunt, which is the single target DPS class, and overall she's just really good. I kind of consider her like a little mini 4-star Seele, just because she has that potential to attack multiple times in a turn just by using her ultimate. I wouldn't say necessarily that she does as much damage as Seele. Now, I'm sure if you build them both a certain way, Sushang can definitely do a lot of damage, but I'm not to say like, oh, if you have Sushang, you shouldn't pull Seele. I don't think that at all. I just think that Sushang is definitely another option, and she is a 4-star, so she might be easier to get. It just depends on, I guess, how you do your summons and all of that. Personally though, I want both of them. I love both of them. They're adorable, especially Sushang in my opinion. And she also has the sword stance, which basically triggers if the enemy's weakness meter or toughness meter is broken, and then there are little ticks after her initial attack. So if you skill, then you'll see these little ticks of damage right afterwards, which can definitely possibly get a kill if you weren't doing enough with only the skill. There is a slight possibility to possibly do these ticks without breaking the weakness or toughness meter, but her ultimate, I'm pretty sure, ensures it, or basically buffs up the chance that she'll be able to do this. So if I'm not mistaken, if you do that skill, then ultimate, then skill, you have a probability of possibly doing 3 ticks afterwards, which I think could be really good, because once again, that combo just does a lot of damage. And you have Bronya on the team, even better, because now Bronya can buff you, she can advance your turn, and so on. And I feel like Bronya, once again, her longevity is going to be so good, especially with assisting your DPS characters and being able to attack more times than once in a turn, or if the character already attacks multiple times, well, now they get to attack even more. So overall, these are my 5 picks. I have basically 3 DPS characters, a debuffer, and a buffer. And I personally love all these choices. I think they are all amazing characters. Of course, there are other characters I really want as well, but for my top 5, I would definitely say it's these characters. I just love them so much. They're just so adorable. And if you made it this far in the video, I'll just give you a little hint. I do have something being worked on currently, which I'm sure some of you will get to see very soon, and it does definitely evolve all 5 of these characters, and you guys will be able to see that very soon. So I hope you guys though enjoyed this video. In the comments down below, let me know which characters do you want the most. If you had to pick a top 5, let me know all 5, and if you want to list your reasons, even better, because I'd love to know your reasons. And I hope you all have a nice one. Peace.